Hi guys, it's Kathy with Messy Cat Creations, and today's video is going to be a process video of how I start a mixed media project. I've got 3 new mixed media projects that are underway, and so you're going to see the beginning of all 3 of them. So I hope you enjoy it. If you like this type of video, please like and subscribe and hit the notification button. If you want to see something different, please leave it in a comment and I will do the best I can to try whatever you would like to see. So I will see you on the other side. Thanks. Bye.
So here I am just putting a first initial painting layer on this piece. It is a wooden board type structure, and it has already been gessoed. It comes just plain wood, so I put a layer of gesso on it. You don't have to do that, but I usually do that for all of my mixed media pieces just because I like the way that watercolor and acrylic go better on the board with a gessoed foundation. So here I am using acrylic. It is just cheap apple barrel acrylic paint, and I am watering it down with water. And this is going to be a happy accident because it starts running, and I really liked the way it looked when it ran from one color into a different color. And I didn't have any plan. I rarely have any plans when I start a piece, so I was just trying to get some color down for a foundation for this piece, and the way the blue is running into the purple, really I loved it. And so that is what inspired the rest of the pieces that I began today. Sometimes I use watercolor for the basis, and I'm sorry this goes out of frame here. I'm just working on the edges, so it doesn't really matter. But again, I'm sorry. That's not very pleasant for you trying to see everything. But normally I will either, as a base coat for out on top of the gesso, I will either use acrylic paint or watercolor paint. It just depends on the day. And even though I'm using acrylic paint today, I'm using it in a very watercolory way because I'm thinning it out with water, and then because of what had happened with the blue running into the purple, I really decided to lean into that. And again, I apologize for you not being able to see that part, but I'm just now turning it in all different directions to get the liquid to flow, and I really like the painterly watercolor type effect that I'm getting here. So I'm just adding more color in different areas and just trying to get a good base down. The base, some people don't think it's that important with mixed media because you're going to end up covering probably 80% of it at least, but I really feel like what my base ends up being inspires the rest of the piece, because like I said before, I don't usually plan anything out. I just do each step one at a time, and I get inspired by each step. So the base can really affect how the rest of the piece looks for me. So, and this is actually the first time I've ever done this type of base, just purely because of that inspiration from what happened as a happy accident initially. So now I've put my paint up, and I'm just letting the loose liquid flow until I'm happy with it. And then I'm going to move on to the next piece, which, because of how happy I was with the way this piece turned out, I'm going to do in the same vein as I did this one. And that sometimes happens. One piece will be inspired by the last piece you did, but today, because I'm prepping all of these pieces at the same time, they really were influenced by each other. So here's the second piece. This one is actually on a flat board canvas. So it is a gessoed canvas that has been wrapped around a board, so it's very flat, and it's not like a stretched canvas. It's just a hard canvas on a board. So I like mixing up what type of structure I use as the basis for all of my mixed media pieces. Sometimes I use found books that I buy at cheap book sales, or sometimes I use just mixed media paper. But a lot of times I will use these board canvases because they take the mixed media, the rest of the mixed media really well. And so I like flipping from different substrates. And so this one is going to be a very muted palette. It will have a pop of kind of a brick red color coming in, but it starts off very muted, and then when the brick red comes in, it kind of changes from muted to, it's still more of a muted colored palette that I normally use, but the red really gives it a different feel than these first two muted colors did. And then because I liked what happened in the first painting so much, now I'm adding water to each one of these colors, and just like I did with the first one, I'm going to pick it up and let the water run. I'm not being picky about where I'm putting any of these marks or how much water I add. I'm just doing whatever feels right in the moment. So again, because most of the foundation work will get covered up, I don't stress over what it looks like, how messy it gets. I really don't care. What I am looking for in how I'm doing these pieces is just, do I like how it looks once the first layer is done? And so I'm going to keep futzing and keep moving it around to let the liquid flow into each other and mix and combine. And I really like how it's looking and how it's melding into each other and flowing through and creating blending of the colors and creating new shades of each color while it runs past each other. So I'm really liking that. And again, I'm sorry that the board is off the camera. I'm really not good at judging where my camera is when I'm in the moment. Like if I take a minute to think, okay, where's the camera, then I can keep it in frame. But I get so caught up in doing the actual artwork that I just lose myself. So you guys have to suffer with it. So this is the third piece. And it is actually on a stretched canvas. It's a mini canvas, and it's been gessoed, and so I'm just pouring some paint. Each one of these is steadily getting more and more, almost like, you know, those poured art that people do. I've never done any poured art, but it's getting closer and closer to that with each one of these pieces, because I just really like the flow that's going on. So I just used 2 colors for this first initial part of this base coat, and because this is a canvas, a stretched canvas, I do try to get color on all the sides and all the corners and everything, because I like it to have a more finished edge when I get done with it. So that's what I'm doing here, and just putting a thin layer on each one of the sides. And then I will end up adding water to the paint and letting it flow like I did in the first 2. So now I'm adding water, and I will begin letting that flow around. And because the 2 colors are in the same family, one's kind of a cool gray and one's a blue shade, a shade of blue, but they're both very cool, and they end up not showing a lot of contrast, of course, because these 2 colors wouldn't show very much contrast. So I end up bringing in a third color, which is a white, just to have a different color flowing. There's still a lot of white left in the background, which is why I chose white to be the third color, because I wanted to bring some white back into it after I got such heavy dark colors. So I add in some more of this dark blue, and then I will wet it some more, I think, and let that flow around into each other. But I'm not liking the lack of contrast. So once I realize that I'm just not going to be happy with this, even though there's shades of white, there's spots of white still showing through, I want more, so I'm going to reach over and get some white to try to bring in a brighter quality to some of these spots. All of my apple barrel paints are very old, and so even when I shake them up, sometimes they're really liquidy. Fluid, more fluid than an acrylic should be. So I didn't even have to add water to this one because just the paint itself was very liquid, very free flowy, and I really liked how it picked up the colors of the blue and the gray into the white and immediately started mixing as it was flowing. So I really liked that, and so I liked it so much I wanted to add some more. And again, I didn't end up adding any water to the white because it was just it didn't need it. A lot of people are really sticklers about having to have fresh paint and fresh, not old substances to do with their art, and that is perfect, and absolutely I understand that, but I always try to do everything on a budget. And so I will keep these paints until either I use them all or they dry up. And so these paints are definitely not dry. They are super fluid, this white is, and I really liked the effects that I got. I probably should have gone back and done some more white, but I was pretty ready to be done with this layer, and so I just went in and added a little bit more water and then moved it around a little bit more, and then I'm going to be done. So we will be coming to the end of this video soon, and so I wanted to say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. When I do the next layers on each of these 3 pieces, I will video it more. I don't know if I will do them all 3 at the same time or if I will work on them one at a time. However I do it, I will make videos of it so that you guys can see the next layers and the process of my mixed media work. Here's what the 3 pieces looked like dry. They do look a little bit different, of course. When paint dries, it looks a little bit different than it does when it's wet, even acrylic paint. And so I wanted you to see what they look like at the end. And so I will be doing a new layer of these, and I will take you guys with me whenever I do it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for your time, and if you like, please subscribe and click the notification button. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.